here on First Take, let's take a look at one of the teams that will be featured in tonight's Monday Night Football action, the Bengals. Cincy is one of the teams still dealing with a contract dispute heading into the season. Four-time Pro Bowl pass rusher Trey Hendrickson is in an impasse with Cincinnati when it comes to his contract. Hendrickson is going into the final year of his deal. The base salary will pay out almost $16 million. Hendrickson has said that he will not play under his current deal. The Bengals star pass rusher has been a key part of their defense since joining the team in 2021. During this span, Hendrickson is top 5 in both sacks and forced fumbles. Schefter, I'll come out to you first. What's the latest on the contract impasse between Hendrickson and Cincinnati right now?
It continues to be at an impasse, and the Bengals have been at the same guaranteed money that they've offered all along. And even though Trey Hendrickson has returned from camp after missing the start of it while he was in Florida, there has not been a change in the offer nor the state of the negotiations. And the key phrase that you said there, Amina, was Trey Hendrickson has said in the past that he would not play this season under his current contract. If that is indeed true, and we believe it is to be true right now, then we don't know where this is going, and there's the real possibility that Trey Hendrickson will have his hamstring flare up or his back get tight or whatever it may be for opening day. Because right now, they're not making any progress. It's hard to see how they will make any progress. They've been at odds for the better part of 2 off seasons without making any progress. And in an off season where the Bengals allocated an awful lot of money to great players on the offensive side of the football in Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, their offense is going to be full throttle, but the defense right now very well may not be.
And the defense struggled last season, Dan, towards the bottom of the league. So when you take a look at this situation with the Bengals, if Trey Hendrickson is not there, what kind of team is this going into this season?
They're not a playoff team. I firmly believe that no player outside of quarterbacks can change the variance of the floor and ceiling to their team like Trey Hendrickson can for the Bengals. Without him, I do not believe they're a playoff team. This was their best defender last year, Trey Hendrickson, on the historically bad defense. To remind everybody, this is a team that went 3-4 last year. 3 wins, 4 losses when they scored 33 or more points. The rest of the NFL went 79-7 in that regard. They're the first defense and team in the history of the NFL to lose 4 games in a season when they scored 33 or more points. So we're talking about taking the best player off of a defense that was bad. So without him, I do not think that they're a playoff team. With him, I think they can win the Super Bowl because the offense is that good. So we're talking about a variance of Micah Parsons is going to impact the Cowboys. Yes, no question, slightly in my opinion. McLaurin, I think Washington takes a big step back, but I don't think Washington is a legit Super Bowl contender. Because Joe and Jamar and T are so good, this is a Super Bowl contender if they're on, but without them, they're not a playoff team.
And Stephen A., what say you about the Bengals?
Well, the first thing I was thinking about, I was going to ask Dan to go get drug tested when he mentioned that they'd win the Super Bowl. Their defense was ranked 25th in scoring defense and total defense last year and 30th in red zone defense with him on the damn field. Not only that, they didn't do much to revamp their defense this year. Now they've got an injury at the safety spot, which also contributes to impeding whatever quality of defense that they may have. But that doesn't negate the fact that Trey Hendrickson is deserving of everything that he's asking for. Right now, his salary for the upcoming season at $16 million is ranked like 22nd in the league amongst edge rushers. That is unacceptable. His market value right now is at about $37 million. They're offering $30 million. Now, we got to remember, Mike Brown still owns this team. They don't even have an official GM on this squad. Adam Schefter, tell me if I'm wrong, but that's my understanding. And they're one of the 2 teams in the NFL that does it like that. I mean, you're just looking at them and you're saying to yourself, what the hell is going on here? And so it's one of those things where he's clearly valuable. His 35 sacks, probably 4.5 more than anybody else in the league over the last 2 years. He's been stellar for Cincinnati Bengals that's otherwise been close to trash. We understand that. He's needed. He's valuable. They should get him signed. I think this is going to come down to Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow stepping up just like he did when he came on First Take during Super Bowl week last year. And he literally came on national television like, we got to get Jamar Chase signed, we got to get T. Higgins signed, and we got to get Trey Hendrickson signed. He called them out by name, said it's absolutely imperative and essential that those dudes get signed, and actually indicated, although not directly, that if they didn't get signed, he would be looking to go elsewhere. He probably was talking about Jamar Chase and T. Higgins and getting both. Because I only thought they were going to be able to keep one of them. They kept both of them. And so we understand how much cachet Joe Burrow has. We know that he is deserving of that cachet. But if you're the Cincinnati Bengals, you're probably saying, okay, we get you on the offensive side of the ball. You don't have anything to do with the defensive side of the ball. Joe Burrow in retort is saying, well, we lost 4 games last year where we scored 33 or more. Clearly, we need a defense. I can only do but so much. They've taken care of 2 of his prime pieces. Now he's saying they need to take care of this one. And they need to stop talking about how they're offering him more than $30 million. It's not about the $30 million. It's about the guarantees, which you know significantly better than me, Adam Schefter. Don't give us that crap. This is the National Football League. And the Cincinnati Bengals usually mess with you with the guaranteed years in the contract, the guaranteed dollars, I should say, more so than anything else. That's the issue right here. Not the money, the guaranteed money.
Stephen, you mentioned the word cachet twice, and it's a derivative of that. It's not the cachet, it's the cash. It's all about the cash and the guarantees here. And when you have a family-run business like the Cincinnati Bengals are, sometimes the cash runs a little tight, especially when you spend so much of it on Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, and T. Higgins. So I think there are people out there that wonder, do they even have enough cash to get a deal done with Trey Hendrickson, which may be one reason that they are stuck on the guaranteed money that they are offering and haven't budged off that one bit. It could be about the actual cash that they can pay him right now because they haven't moved off that right now, Dan.
So, Stephen A., I understand your point with the defense thing, but I think it speaks to the opposite. The defense was atrocious last year. And I understand not a ton of changes, but new defensive coordinator Al Golden comes in, one of the most respected defensive football minds in ball, no matter what level. Shamar Stewart, their first-round pick. So we're not sitting here telling everybody this has got to become a top 10 defense. But if this defense is okay, if it's top 18, top 16, this team's going to win 11 or 12 games. And I'll take Joe Burrow versus just about anybody when it comes to win-or-go-home games. So I don't think it's outrageous to sit there and say, with Hendrickson and slight improvement defensively, they are Super Bowl contenders. Maybe not at the level of the Ravens or the Chiefs and the Bills, but they're not far off, man.
I'm just saying to you, I'm not blaming Trey Hendrickson for it. I'm saying he's a stud, but even with him being a stud, they were trash last year.
Totally.
Now, we can believe in Golden, and we'll make sure to see what materializes from his stewardship over the defense. We got that part. But if you're the Cincinnati Bengals, you do get to say, with you on the field, we did not look good at all. 30th in red zone defense, 25th in total and scoring defense. That's pretty damn bad. And when you're coming to the negotiating table, even as superb as Trey Hendrickson was, and I'm telling you, give him his money, he deserves it. I do understand that argument that they could possibly make.
Look, Dan, I
see
it on your face right now. Look, Bengals 1-11, weeks 1 and 2 of the season. They need to figure something out and something quickly. After that Monday night showdown, football tonight, a huge return to ESPN. Rich Eisen will be hosting the 11 p.m. Sports Center for the first time since 2003. You don't want to miss
Yes!
that. Yeah, Justin
An all-time legend.
Chi-Town, where the Bears quarterback Caleb Williams had a sharp start to last night's preseason win versus Buffalo. Williams hit on 6 of his first 7 throws, then left after the second possession. He finished 6 of 10 for 102 yards. And after the game, Caleb and his new head coach, Ben Johnson, had positive things to say about the quarterback's growth.
So a month ago, I think I've grown a lot. Now, my mindset is, keep growing. I think the idea is to be able to handle every single thing that I can, and everything that Ben says that, I should be able to handle. Being able to do that consistently over the next couple years is, important for me.
I thought really the 3 days of practice we had this week and this game were the most he's stacked up good days in a row right now. And so the challenge is going to be to keep pushing in that direction.
All right, Mike T back here with us. You heard Caleb Williams. He sounds confident. What's his ceiling with Ben Johnson as his head coach?
I mean, if they could win the NFC North, which is absolutely loaded, but boy, I thought he played with confidence, with rhythm, anticipation, for what was his first start in Ben Johnson's era, it was highly encouraging. And you go back to the offseason, 4 new offensive linemen. That means he should be really well protected. They drafted Colson Loveland from where, Adam?
Michigan.
Yeah, to go with Cole Kmet and a whole bunch of really good receivers. So I was extremely encouraged. And again, last year he had 68 sacks, which is just devastating to an offense. No negative plays. It was a small sample set against a whole bunch of backups, but I was really encouraged how he played, and it really makes for a really interesting NFC North.
The ceiling for Caleb Williams, if he greases this offense, would be MVP. He has the physical talent to be an MVP at this league in the NFL. Now, there's a large gap that he's got to close when it comes to how to run this offense at the very highest level. If we're just taking the lateral conversation of Jared Goff, who was a number 1 pick, who's taken 2 different teams to NFC Championship games, Jared Goff and Caleb Williams, if we're just asking who's physically more gifted, it's Caleb Williams. But in the 3 years with Ben Johnson, Jared Goff threw for like 96 touchdowns, I think like 30 interceptions, a QB passer rating of 105, and 14,000 yards. Big time ball, like big time football. Caleb's more physically talented. Now, Jared does more experience. He does things in that offense when it comes to playing on time, playing in rhythm, seeing windows, throwing with anticipation, all that Caleb has to close that gap. But if he gets there over the course of, let's say, 2 seasons, his ceiling is an MVP caliber player. I'm just telling everybody, my thought is it's not going to happen now. Right. It was great last night. It was awesome. The one thing you wanted to see, play, right place, right time, it happened. He's going to see a lot of different things coverage-wise and personnel-wise as this season goes on, but he has tremendous physical talent if he puts it all together under this scheme.
He's going to see a lot of things as the season goes on that he didn't see last night because the Bills were playing plain vanilla defense.
As basic coverage as you can see.
With backups. Now, also, the Bears are going through their own adjustment period where Ben Johnson, their head coach, has loaded up Caleb Williams with all the offense he could to see what he could and couldn't handle. And their hope is that by the time they get to the regular season, Caleb's knowledge will grow and Ben will know what Caleb is and isn't capable of. And they are putting their faith in Ben Johnson. And we saw a glimpse of what he could do in one preseason game last night, 38 points, over 500 yards in a preseason game. But that is what he did in Detroit, and that is why the Chicago Bears went as hard after him as they did. If we look back at the last 3 seasons in Detroit, Ben Johnson's offense had 177 touchdown drives and 154 points. You guys have both been in football. Punts.
Yes, more touchdowns than
More
punts.
touchdowns over 3 years than punts. That ratio is going to win a lot of games.
Yeah.
If they can come anywhere close to that in Chicago with a quarterback who's physically probably more gifted than Jared Goff, who also was a number 1 overall pick at one point in time, then the Bears are going to have a lot of good moments like they did on Sunday night against the Bills.
Yeah, Stephen A., I mean, the Bears, they retooled that entire offense. They basically set it up for Caleb Williams to be successful. What do you think is going to be his ceiling?
Especially the offensive line, because you know Ben Johnson wants to get physical, no doubt about that. He wants physicality, he wants a running game, because he believes that's going to assist in protecting Caleb Williams, which is what it's all about. The man was on suicide watch last year, got sacked about 68 times, which was about I don't know whether it was 14 or 17 more than anybody else had been sacked. It was a pretty bad situation, but yet and still he still threw for over 3,500 yards. All right, had 20 touchdowns, just 6 interceptions, and we keep forgetting that. I'm glad you brought up the fact that he's a stud athletically, Dan, because he is. I believe in this brother. I believe that he is going to show that he was worthy of being the number 1 pick, even with Jaden Daniels at number 2. I think that Caleb Williams has the potential to be that special and that impressive. But here's my biggest evidence of support for him. You know who else believes that? Ben Johnson. We don't bring this up enough. That man was an elite offensive coordinator. Look at what Detroit did the last 2 years. Look at the weapons that they had. Look at what this man did. And he took the Chicago job. He don't take that job if there's a Mitchell Trubisky type quarterback in the Chicago Bears. He took it because Caleb Williams is there. And somehow, some way, watching film, competing against him, seeing him perform, looking to go Dan's right at what he did in college and stuff like that, You know the brother's got some potential. So I look at the weapons that they have. I look at the fact that they focused more on protecting him. The game was a bit too fast for him last year. They're trying to slow it down now. Repetition is what Ben Johnson preaches about. We see all of these things transpiring, along with more physicality, the likelihood of a running game. Okay, you got Odunze, and you've got these cats at the wide receiver spot. You know, with DJ Moore and stuff, you know what they bring to the table. I just think it's one of those situations where Caleb Williams, I think he's going to have a pretty impressive season, and I think he's going to deliver.
If everything falls into the right place, he's going to be the best quarterback the Bears have ever had. I know that
ain't hard. That ain't saying much.
I mean, Harbaugh, really good player. Jim McMahon, really good player. So they've had some good ones. Jim McMahon,
the Super Bowl champion. Super Bowl champion. That's fine with Jim McMahon, okay? And let's not forget Jay Cutler, who always looked depressed. All right, maybe it was because of the weather in Chicago. I don't know. But the point is this: you got Jay Cutler. You got Jay Cutler. You had Mitchell Trubisky. You had Harbaugh. You had Jim McMahon. All I'm saying to you is this: no disrespect, no shade. But saying that he's going to be the greatest quarterback in the history of the Chicago Bears, I can make a legitimate argument he might pull that off this season compared to what we've seen them have at their disposal for the last 40 years.
Stephen,
for the last 40 years.
It all begins with this. Chicago's produced the Pope before they produced a 4,000-yard passer.
Yeah, but there's different eras of football and windy cities, so stylistically it matters.
Great line,
but this is why I believe there's no quarterback under more pressure than Caleb. Mm-hmm. Now, but I also don't think it's going to happen overnight. But especially coming off of last night.
I got that. But it ain't hard. All I'm saying to you, Dan Orlovsky, is that it ain't hard for him to be seen as the greatest quarterback in the Chicago Bears franchise. They ain't really had an elite one in 40 years.
Stephen A., I want to get back.
40 years.
I want to get back to something you said. You said you expect a lot from Caleb Williams. What exactly do you expect to see from him on the field?
Stop dancing around answering the question and say something.
Yeah.
Man. Wait a minute. Hold on.
I think he's going to play fine.
I've never been accused of not saying anything. Okay. You want to play that game? That's fine. I believe that the Chicago Bears are going to compete for a wild card spot. I think they can win 9 to 10 games. I believe Caleb Williams is going to throw for over 4,000 yards. And I think that he's going to have a significantly better season than he had last year.
Here we go. See, we got Stephen A. to give a direct answer. There you go.
67 minutes it took.
He's never had a problem giving a direct answer.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is television. There are such things as teasers. And by the way, I would know a thing or two about what rates.
You know what? See, he knows a little bit about what rates and what doesn't.